What are the signs that you are going through a divine masculine awakening, right? In this video, I'm going to go through 6 signs to show you that you're going through it. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that and how to navigate the awakening as well. But before I do that, make sure that you like, comment on this video so I can keep making more content like this. But before I go into, how do you know and what the signs are, let's talk about what is the divine masculine, because there's so much content online, these 10-20 minute videos trying to discuss the divine masculine. So I'm going to break it down in one sentence. The divine masculine is your ability to act on, provide, and protect your divine purpose on this planet. Simple as that. Masculinity naturally wants to provide, put its energy out. It wants to protect. When it is divine, right, rather than it being in your lower centers, just about your own ego, you recognize that your purpose is connected to something higher than yourself, and you didn't act on that, right? So let's go into how you know you're actually going through your divine masculine awakening. The first thing that you will start going through is the awareness of your power, right? The natural power that is within you. You will stop blaming other people for the fact that you have a desire to be great at something. You have the desire to control things. You have the desire, right, to have some level of domination, right? This is the masculine impulse, right? But when you become aware of that, what starts to happen is you no longer push the outside, right? You recognize, I do want to dominate something. So let me dominate myself. Does that make sense? Let me have control over me, right? Let me do the hard things rather than me trying to dominate people outside of me. Let me dominate myself. Let me put this energy that I have and embody it through my actions rather than me denying that it's a part of me, blaming other people and saying they're the reason why, right? Let me truly accept that part of myself, right? And then sign number 2 is you have this call for adventure, right? Your purpose, when you really started to accept who you are, right, and your energy, you'll recognize that there's something in you that wants to, express itself, right, irrespective of other people. And then you have the call to do that, right? There'll be this deep calling saying, I want to make YouTube videos, or I want to do poetry, or I want to do art, or I want to start a business, or I want to move country, right? There'll be something in you that will just want to come out. It's the call to adventure, the start of the hero's journey, right? Where you start to channel this energy that you've now become aware of, this power, into something so you can create something, right, that you can touch, taste, hear, see, and smell, right? And that only comes, right, after you've accepted this power is within you so that you're able to direct it towards your purpose, right? Sign number 3 is that your heart center will awaken. And I'm not saying that you're going to get overly emotional, but there will be this empathy, right, that will start to wake up in you. When you're on this journey, you will start to become more aware of other people and how their emotions are. And this does come from the awareness of how your energy can affect people. You will start to recognize that you have to be very tactical with how you use this energy, right? The wordings that you use, because you're powerful. So you then become a place where you start to use your heart center to start guiding you, right? So you can use your energy in an effective way to manifest what it is that you want. Number 4 is that as your heart center opens and your energy center starts to expand, right, you become more emotionally intelligent. Now, emotional intelligence is not just your ability to recognize other people's emotions. It's your ability to recognize your own as well. Because you can only meet other people as deeply as you have met yourself. And so as you are on this journey, you're really going for it. Your heart center is opening up and you're actually learning how to get more emotionally intelligent on that journey. So if you start to sense other people's emotions and you're starting to think, okay, I'm trying to still get what I want, right? Because you're not going to be soft with this. Men, remember, you've now accepted your power, right? You learn how to do that, not in a way when you're manipulating people, but in a way that you learn how to maneuver so that you can create the life that you want. Create your own heaven on earth. And number 5 is that you're going to truly let go of the patriarchy's version of masculinity, right? Because it's outdated and it's actually quite harmful to men. It tells you that your only job, right, is to provide and to protect. That's all that you're there to do, right? You're pretty much expendable. But when you become a divine masculine, you recognize that no, you are the resource. So you're not expendable. You're extremely valuable. How you feel is extremely important. And these are things that need to be honored, right, in a specific way, which will be unique to you, right? And so you will let go of what the patriarchy says that men are, because that might not be you. You might not fit into this particular archetype, right, that they've created. So you will let that go. You will start thinking, why is it they say men should do this? Why is it they say that men should dress like this? Why is it they should look like this? Right? Especially with what's been happening nowadays, right? You will just say, I'm going to try to be me. Does that make sense? Right? That's the masculine impulse, is to be itself, right? To create its own kingdom where it is able to live the life it wants to live, to see the world it wants to see. And so you will start to create that within yourself. And then number 6 is that you will start to embody love rather than seeking it, right? And this is in your relationships. This is just in your life. A lot of times as men, we are taught that we need to work for other people's love. That's what we need to do. We need to give money. We need to give everything. And I'm not saying that these things are not important. Again, provision and protection is the masculine impulse. But sometimes we're doing this almost transactionally because we don't feel good enough, right? We feel like, no, if I don't do this, like I can't have love. But when you start to tap into your divine masculine, you start to recognize I am love itself. You are the embodiment of unconditional love. That is the masculine impulse, right? So you start to embody that. So then what you are looking for in relationships is not to receive this love from someone else. It's you already embody that love. And you are looking for in relationships an ability to share this fullness of love that is you. And so you approach all your relationships very differently. You are just yourself. You're like, this is how I show love. Is this person able to receive that from me, right? And if they're not able to receive that from me, then this isn't right for me, because I'm not going to work to receive the love, because I am the love, right? And so there's going to be someone out there that will be able to mirror that for me, nurture that for me, right? Rather than you going out there and seeking love to fill this void that is within you. So those are 6 signs, right, to show you if you are starting to wake up to your divine masculine, right? And I'm sure you've noticed some of these things, right, talking about emotions and what's going on the internal, right? These are quote unquote could be classed as feminine traits, but divinity is always going to be 2, right? It's stepping out of polarity. So there are going to be feminine traits or aspects that you are going to have to embody so that you could be the man that you need to be. Things like emotional intelligence and things like that. So again, these are the fuel that allow you to be masculine. But yeah, let's go into some ways that you can, right, start to cultivate this divine masculine energy. And it wouldn't be, right, me if the first thing I don't talk about is semen retention, right? Semen retention is a fundamental way for you to tap into your divine masculine energy, right? Because at the end of the day, if you haven't got the testosterone, the vasopressin, and the oxytocin in balance within your body, it's going to be very hard for you to be able to tap into your divine masculine. I would almost say it's impossible if your hormones are outside of balance, right? So that's like a key fundamental practice, right? Learn sexual discipline, right? Don't be a creep, right? That is just never going to work, right? Number 2 is to work out, be physically active, use this energy that you have, right? If you are physically weak, right, you haven't got the energy, you're lazy, and all of these other things, right, you're not going to be able to embody the divine masculine, because it literally is action, right? Like, there is a being part of it, but if the being doesn't inform your doing, then yeah, you're not going to be able to tap in to the divine masculine. Third thing, energy work. When I'm talking about energy work, you've got Qigong, you've got Tantra, you've got yoga, you've got deep meditations, right? You have to become aware of the energy that is within you. That is such a core thing. If you don't understand the energy that is within you, it's going to be impossible for you to tap into the divine, right? Because that is literally the fuel that is used for you to tap into the divine. And then last but not least, connect with nature. Find somewhere near you where there's trees and grass, right? And go into that place, right? Go for long walks, tap into these things, right? I would say do it sometimes without headphones, like do it in silence, right? Just walk through nature, start to hear that voice that is within you. This will help connect you to what it is that you need to do and build that gap as well, because you'll start to really hear and see your dreams, and then you'll realize how far you might be from them, how much work needs to be done to manifest this dream or goal, and that will give you that drive and that impulse to be able to go out there and do it. So yeah, those are some tips on how to tap in. I do hope that this video has been helpful to you guys. If it has, and you've watched till this point, please join my WhatsApp group, right, where we talk about these topics and we meet up at least once a week, right? It's important when we're on these journeys to be around other men that are aligned with us, right? To keep us grounded, to keep us on path, right? Because as men, we can get lonely. This is a normal thing. So I've created a safe space for you guys to be able to really go deep in these topics. And last but not least, guys, as you know, you are perfect by design. Peace.